Hello everyone, this is Zufar and I'm so glad that I've been able to make it today because we had rain scheduled for afternoon, and in the morning there was no sun. In afternoon we had just a little bit of sprinkles of time of rain, and I've been driving and I thought shall I cancel today's session, but in fact at around 5 o'clock we had sun out. And I recalled one spot which I painted today but never did that in spring. So today we're going to do that one. Also, for those who watched and have seen my posts on Facebook, I showed there some like a new easel like this one. It's actually a small one. It's like a 5 by 10 inches inside, even smaller than that. It's made in China, and I've seen this paint box, how they call it, online for $15, and then by Winsor Newton. I believe Winsor Newton sell it for you can buy it for $22. I ordered a couple of them, and on one of my video reviews I will show how it works. But generally that was a box like this, and it had a palette inside and like this. So that was pretty interesting, kind of like, shall I be able to paint with that, because palette looked pretty small. And finally I turned it to be I cut a newer one flat, absolutely without this hole, and then I'm looking for possible modification of having it like a foldable with a little gap in between, so with special hinges. And if I'll be able to do so, then I will be able to have kind of twice bigger palette. Today I tested that first time because when I ordered, I was thinking how I will fix it, and finally I came up with idea that here, as you see, that's the this is tripod with a quick release, and that works in fact like this way, as many like Easy L. So same idea. I ordered this part online, and then of course I made a hole here, and then I attached it. I knew that the size of easel is a little, and it will be not a lot of pressure, but at the same time, compared to EZL, it sits like this on the base, and then you paint here and you have a lot of kind of hinges, give you a little vibration, then entire kind of construction is a little shaky. I thought, what if I will fix the area which will hold my canvas, and my palette will be on where usually the lid of the box is. So that worked well. Today testing happened, and you'll be able to see that. Also, I hope you will excuse me being outdoors and recording as it's supposed to be, but since I had to stand next to the road, a lot of on Route 6 in Connecticut, there was a lot of trucks, like SUVs mainly, and regular cars been passing, and I'm giving a lot of comments, and generally it's kind of may interfere with sound. I did not want to put a new sound on top of it. First I wanted to have it done, created on the go, so I would be able to do so when I go on plein air events. I'm still preparing, I'm seeing how it works, and of course I want to see how you accept it. If you like this video content wise, or the way as it's really kind of happening, I really want you to put like below the video and write in comments like noise was unbearable, or noise was okay. And of course that's something like quickest which is possible. I did start painting this view at 5:15, and I mean I set up, I found the view. I think I did start paint in fact at like 6:30, 5:30, and by 6:10, 6:15 I finished and I wrapped up. I went back home and I set up my studio, and now I'm broadcasting this to you. I hope all works well and you can see me live, because a number of you who have been following my video blog weekly have seen how it's possible just to go to my channel on YouTube, and then at 7 o'clock on Thursday I'll try to keep it up the same way, at least while I'm here around in Connecticut, so you can see a live session appearing on top of my channel. So let's enjoy it. So session of the recording will be about 35 minutes, and I'm not going to give any comments, but at the same time, if you want to communicate to me, of course, I'll be watching my what they call the chat room, and I'll be answering your questions if you have any. And at the end, of course, I will do some wrap up, and maybe based on your questions, I will add more maybe comments and talking as the format of the talking head. Okay, I hope that all works well, and let's enjoy it. Hello everyone, this is Zufar and we are on the field. I want to try to do a recording of field study, and if you've seen my paintings in the gallery, I've been painting this farm before, but anyways, I'm using 5 by 7, exactly 7 by 5 inches, a tiny toned canvas already, and I will do some field study which will take me about half an hour, maybe 40 minutes. I don't want to take it long, I just want to show. I just want to show you that you don't have to dedicate half a day for your painting, especially when you go and paint outdoors. It should not scare you. You need to have a special time, special day. I cannot do that because I don't have time, so on. I just want to show that with affordable materials, with time-wise, having this hobby or future profession can be affordable as well, and it can do progress. Most important is your motivation and being able to see motifs for you to paint pretty much anywhere. So this easel is it's a kind of like a little modification of the paint box which I bought for $15. And I think Winsor Newton makes it for about like $21, and you can buy it on Jerry's Arturama. And I will show you in some of the videos, or maybe later on today, what modification I've done. So I'll be working on this one. Inside, as you see, it's very small. It's about like 5 inches, even a little less than that. And like it's 5 by 10, I would say. That is why for vertical format, I have it positioned in a portrait mode. Also, you can see how beautiful is sky outside, and I want to do a little motif with this colorful sky, which is like in pastel gray, kind of like desaturated, muted, and also this edge of the farm. I like that we have that spruce tree, some evergreens in front, so our greens on trees and on grass are not getting the same. Plus, I am glad that we can have some sort of a vista, and that vista adds a lot of blue, so some air perspective. I've been driving like for last almost like 2 hours finding what to show you today, and I finally, with help of weather and with help of whatever, with your prayers maybe, so we finally are here. Let's start. Okay, let's start. It's very noisy here. It's very hard to find in Connecticut any road which would not have such a traffic, pretty much same as we have here. But I had to sacrifice because view which I see now, especially direction to the sky, with all those interesting details, are exactly visible from this point. In fact, yeah, so I have here 2 reds, 2 sort of yellows, I would say, 2 blues and white. It's a relatively limited palette. We'll see how this will work. I will do a mix of blue, and if I need any kind of like color which is on grayscale, that will be here. I don't have my oil pastel. I have, I think, a lot of contrast now in here. And I don't have my sketch. So a lot of focus will be on this grass. I mean, not the focus, but I would say it will take a good part of the space and sky. So sort of maybe this silo a little too close to the side. For a little bit of trees on this side, and I love that bluish background. I think I better go with cleaner paint for that area, but of course it's not ultramarine, but it's more of the cerulean blue, and the value wise I don't think it's very correct. In fact, my I wish I had purple, but I can make some purple here. And I want to show again that those quick studies do not require special day, special mood. On your way home, you just stop and paint. That's so important to train your eyes, to expand your knowledge about the knowledge about the mixes which work well or not. Since we're all occupied with the process of painting, quite often we do not focus a lot. We focus on painting. We cannot focus efficiently on what we are doing. But after many repetition, that will come. And don't expect to be great artists after 3 paintings. Should be probably 300s, and work on them at pretty good pace. I mean, not like one painting a month for 10 years. It's something like trying to paint almost every other day, every day. That may work much better. I'm glad that we have some sun showing up. But I think value of my canvas, which I have at this time, is pretty close to what I want to be there. And warm it up. It turns pretty much to gray. It just doesn't work well. For this cloud, I need a little darker. Maybe this is too red now. It's not very convenient to work this way, but I like easiness of setup. Few colors. It also actually helps me and push me to explore a limited palette. When I'm in situation, when in studio, I can grab any paint, or when I have a bigger palette, I have a lot of different paints to be squeezed on my palette. Here, I have no option. I really do whatever I can do. Still so much joy of being outside and painting. I need some, not pink, but like more orange type of color. cannot go much with details, but I'm trying to catch right colors here. I'm not even like for very for texture or for right sharp edges and so on. Sky changes actually, and since it's flat and large and there is no much of interference, maybe I will go over it like this. Imagine I'm painting this in my studio from photograph. I just would have it done much easier because colors I see on photograph much simpler. But will it make my painting more realistic? No. Looks like cannot see very well what's happening with the sky. The sky looks different, and believe it or not, this is the first time I'm painting with this self-made, not box but general construction, using it for plein air painting. So far I like how it works. Okay, I think I'm too much into details, and I can much easier go with, I think I can do pretty easy my foreground. I think it's a little too light. If I squint, I see that in reality it's a tiny bit darker. Now there is it looks cool when we have that texture. Shall we leave it like that? Of course we can. With another hand, I try to go more realistic in what I represent down there. On the other hand, yes, if we do a field study just to grab right colors, we can leave it like that. It's 6 o'clock. It's like a half an hour before I should go online and show you this video. Also, we can actually leave this little between brushstrokes, the visible canvas, which is toned, which is not absolutely white, trying to represent some sort of you see there are some flowers, white flowers down there. I will do some changes in design of this box. I just had to have at least a minimum design of it so I could start using it today. So that's a dirt road, and a bit of red on this side. Now, I think before I go with the darks, I will try to prepare a surface with a almost dry brush, but still with green. which is a little lighter. Yeah, that will be probably a lighter part of that spruce tree on the right. I'm not trying to be very descriptive shape-wise. And also, I think a few dark details. Looks like with this smaller palette, I pretty easily get I don't have much space to mix my paints. I wish my brush was the palette was at least twice bigger. So maybe if any modifications are to be done, I will have it done. As with any, I cannot call it invention, but anyway, I'm trying smaller size and I see how does it work. I'm kind of involved in maybe not pure inventive process, but still trying to understand this format, trying to get that color right. Yeah, now sun beams right into my eyes, and I hope you still can see what's happening on my canvas. And now also we have some wind. My camera started a little shaking. For my minimal setup, I use this mix of Galkit and Gamsol, even for cleaning my brush as well. So the silo part is a little cooler. Mix more of blue, a little bit lighter. Then red walls. Now let's compare the top of the silo versus sky. When you look at the top of the silo compared to the walls of silo, it looks lighter. On the other hand, when we try to look at the sky, the silo top is quite darker. And then this part, I think it's good now. Sorry. Oh, these things happen. So it should be wiped off. Okay. Feel that I need a yellow ochre, maybe. But I don't have access to it. I'm specifically trying not to work. I have a smaller brush, but I'm trying not to touch it. Don't want to go much to details at this moment. Maybe I'll use it right at the end. So now I'm working on blocking stage. And let's see, these spruce trees, dark, some yellow to make it more of green, and some raw sienna to make it muted green. And it looks like it's not dark enough. Guess we have a little bit of white there. You know what, let's try to add even a cadmium red can help achieve that deepness. As usually, trees are darker than grass. Of course, early spring foliage color is quite gentle, but anyways, in most situations, it's just darker. Maybe here I need smaller size brush. Because right now I have my canvas pretty much covered with bigger masses, which we'll call block in stage. And now with maybe a smaller brush like this, I will be able to kind of refine shapes, maybe add color variation, depth, and so on. Yes, I feel I want to define a little better. This lower side. I think foreground I'll leave it as is. I will add more color on these trees. Sorry for the wind. Wind shakes my camera. Not much though, but it does. But I hope the optical stabilization will be helpful to keep it from a lot of swinging side to side. Again, so on the roof I have a light. There's a little bit of reflection of light. And here, wow, since I started, how much light condition changed. I'm glad I started with sky. Sky is different. Yeah, I think I see this roof is darker than sky when I squint. So let's make it darker. I'm not going to do those little windows on the barn. That's really not so important. But what's important, there is a darker corner here, which gives some sort of contrast. I really want to have a prettiness again seen in this painting. I need to add some sort of like finer lines, maybe to highlight a couple of details. Like there is a vent here, another vent, and since it's shadow here, vents actually not easy things to paint. I don't think that will add more of prettiness in this situation. I may have some opposite effect, in fact. Oh, the background is getting so beautiful, and sun is getting lower. Like this view more and more. As soon as I got this beautiful color here, right color, I don't need to be more descriptive again. Just cannot emphasize it more. Because if I see some highlights which I really want to show, let's say as a reflection or glow or highlight over here, I will do it. Okay. Whatever I'll be doing right now, it's really, I'm doing it just for us to perceive this painting as a painting session. Let's say if you're afraid that you show it to your family and they say, oh, like your dad, you paint like a child. So you want to show that you can do something better. And quite often those little details can in fact give that enhanced feeling. The painting is done by Dad, the master. And maybe somewhere edges got too soft, and you think, of course, you need to pay more attention to color and value rather than to edges. Let's say you want to do it like more carefully done. Let's do it. Maybe sky, in fact, could be also a little better. The spruce tree is not easy to show and paint. Again, texture-wise, at least this shape of spruce tree. This will try to show that we have some contre-jour effect. If you will decide ever to painting from here and want to do that in studio, all colors are here, and you just need a good photograph and maybe to come another day to do a sketch of details, because the light condition comes with colors and with values too. Okay, and I see there a little shadow, which is probably not as important. All these little things. If you want a painting look kind of bit better, so let's go for it. Take another brush which is clean, and the filbert one. I want to work a little bit more on sky. I don't have much space on my palette to clean up and to mix, to get new mixes ready. I'll try. So a dilemma is to paint what I think I remember how it was at that time, or to paint it as is there. I think this decision should be made on case-to-case basis, because sometimes it fits concept which we took in the beginning and it could be easily corrected and moved. Sometimes it doesn't. So in my situation, I think that I will incorporate what I see here now. Oh boy, it's windy. The only thing for sky which I'm going to work on right now, yeah, it's a little too dark. I think we're close to finish up. Yeah. Need cleaner paint, cleaner brush. I think I'm good for now. I think grass could be darker. I think it's getting darker now than it used to be. It could be risky because I'm adding extra layer. And do I want it? Not really. I want it a lot to interfere, but I'll try. I think it's good for now. I'm glad I worked for last 40 minutes, maybe a little more, and I created this view. Of course, in reality, it's getting color-wise deeper and more gorgeous. Sky is actually quite picturesque as well. I think I'll be back to paint this view again. Let me turn on my sound, and I'm glad that we've been able to watch it. Again, this video was unedited. Noise-wise, it was concerned, but otherwise, time-wise and the freshness-wise, I think that was great. Again, I'm practicing to be able to deliver you some videos while I'm traveling. So I think this experience wasn't too bad. So now I want to highlight a few points. One of them is that work on field study, and I found my favorite format now is a 5x7 or 5x10. Is really worth it. It's worth it because it saves you a lot of time. And finally, my concept of drawing and painting and then working on a final painting is channeled, and I tested it on myself, that I need to take 4 steps, 3 little steps and then long jump, which is a painting which I want to submit to competition or whatever, which I want to be happy with. So, and also 3 steps are kind of tries. I do not treat them as finished painting, but I try to break essential parts of the painting process: composition, structure, drawing part, and painting part. And the first step is thinking generally what I want to paint. So that's a bigger mass. Then I go a little bit more advanced shape-wise. I'm trying second time, and I do this field study. Then I do my drawing, which will give me final composition, final consideration of space I want to leave here and there, what will be my focal point, and so on. And it's the idea of painting still brewing in my head, but it's really taking and bringing, kind of taking shape, which will worth then to put on canvas, which would be for some artists, and for me even, like if I work on 12x16, 16x20, and of course bigger than that, I want to do those 3 steps. It's like before you do jump, you need to kind of get momentum, and that momentum is one of them is a field study. So I had a few questions how my things work, and I brought actually an edited version of this box. I don't really tell you that you have to go and buy it, but maybe some of your creativity and some way of kind of designing your own thing would be a good idea. I do not know. Maybe something like this already exists, and I'm just reinventing a bicycle. But generally, I like this format. The only thing which I don't like that the palette is small. It's proved during today's test. And when I buy this, I bought this like on I think on Jerry Satorama website for $15. And I thought maybe wood is not good enough, and so on. But Winsor & Newton just $7 more expensive. Pretty much affordable option. It would be probably good for people who want to paint rarely, and then it can turn and really provoke painting more often, because you can prepare this little easel at home, squeeze your paints and so on, especially as I showed today with a limited palette. And then you have maybe extra paints in your box, and then you start painting, spending those 40 hours just to block in, trying to find any pretty lines and pretty I don't know, textures and so on, but you should be still kind of course, feeling in big shapes what you want to paint. And then, it's like if you spend 30-40 minutes a day and do like 5-6 days a week, that's hours and hours of self-education, which is the most efficient, I think, in terms of the way as you kind of digest information, because you have time to experiment. You don't feel group, which could be on a workshop, like especially for beginners, they don't feel comfortable showing their work. They try to hide, and maybe they're afraid when the instructor walks behind, and they want to have feedback, and they're afraid to get feedback because everything looks awful, and being scared, anxious is really not a good help. Here you are just on your own. But the points here, you get colors, you get values, and weather like today was changing. But since a period of time is very short for the size and whatever the convenience, I would say, because we're not going for details, that works well. Also, if I did not go and do this webinar at this moment, what I would do, I would take another canvas and do another colors, whatever. Maybe I would do sky, or I would do grass, or whatever. Maybe some flowers in the field. But I would like to follow the scene in a realistic manner, not the way as it's presented photographically correct, but the way as it's color-wise and value-wise correct. Then dexterity, especially painting, often comes and you pick colors correctly. Then you'll be able to paint something like this in 20-25 minutes. Then you have extra time and you can do some sort of whatever texture things, maybe some straws like on the field, maybe better highlights and so on. So when I was modifying, let me show. Oh boy, I'm sorry for the noise. So what I've got here, this is what I worked on. I added, of course, quick release plate, and I bought it separately. I think like maybe $9 or $7 on Amazon, and this of course doesn't have it. And then I removed these parts because that's supposed to hold all entire structure on tripod. I tried, it really doesn't work. These parts are so soft, it really doesn't hold it. So I just removed them. And also inside, new one looks like it has some palette inside, and it seems to be pretty nice. I guess it's supposed to be like this. And it sits here well, since I decided to have my construction this way. So this palette's supposed to come here, and there should be some space. I cut it a little bit shorter and it sits down. And as I said, I want to have it kind of like a openable, maybe like one palette here and another palette. So to have maybe sort of kind of like two levels, to mix some whatever, the lighter paints here and darker on the second floor. And then I would be able to fold it down. I will show later how my canvas sits on. Let me take my piece. So what I have here, I did some tiny screws here. I probably cannot see it well, but you can see them now. This and this and this. And of course I did, on opposite side, I did some holes. I drilled them, so when I lock, it's really kind of fit into it, and I'll be able to close position. And that's pretty much it so far. So it sits on my easel, it works well, and when you have a palette of this size, I mean, you can squeeze those 6-7 paints on your palette at home, or have it like in your bag and be able to paint. I mean, scene like today, limited palette is not something which I really enjoy and do often, but for study, for convenience, for painting for painting, and that painting turns to a skill, and your skill brings you confidence and joy and comfort when you're working on something more important. So that's what I want to really be up to. What also, I have like number of ideas. I wish I had a bigger team and a few people from Mastermind, which we could really I have a group in Connecticut which we get together with like once a month, sometimes once in 2 months. But if I had someone who I could talk at least a couple of times a week, and we could do something and then videotape, would be great. Anyway, one of the ideas which I'm very excited about is how to survive like 30 days painting a day. Maybe not as harsh as like every day, but within a week period, which is our regular business cycle. We have weekend just once a week. We have every week just one Monday, one Friday when we're happy or unhappy or overloaded and so on. And like 5 or 6 paintings a week. So for 5 weeks or maybe for 4 weeks. So with something like small, convenient is possible. And with painting wise, like of this size, this was done during my demo, and I'm teaching in Chesapeake Fine Arts Studio on November 9th and 8th. On that weekend, my 4-step approach. Please welcome and sign up. You definitely can sign up on website, ChesapeakeFineArtsStudio.com. I think that's the... and if you'll search for it, it's very popular. Great artists teach there, and I'm very humbled to be invited down there. So, oh yes, and let me show how my canvas sits here. Since I did those screws here, I put my canvas on over those screws, and it sits. And then on top, I put thumb tucks. And then I have a little kind of elastic band which holds it. I couldn't find any better solution. I thought maybe I can get the magnetic holders for canvas, like little hooks, which could be moved and held in position due to magnetic qualities. They could hold this canvas, because canvas is small, and if the weather and the wind is too strong, you're not going to paint anyway, because that, like, everything will be floated. Your paper, your toilet paper, the paper towel, and everything else. So we kind of take wind maybe up to 10 miles per hour, no more than that. So I'm glad that you've been able to make it, and thank you for joining me. If you like this video, any part of it, please give me some comments. And if you didn't like, tell me what you didn't like it about. Otherwise, I want your likes. It really makes me feel comfortable spending a few hours on Thursdays preparing this video. Really kind of, it just kind of emotionally charges me. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, so please do so. And I just want to remind you that this video is a part of my project, confidentartist.com. If you have never been there, please go there. There are a few free surprises, and there is in progress the magical winter, which is I'm working on voiceover. I think I will definitely have a much before next winter comes. And thank you for those who support it and will get this amazing course. And it's my first course. Thank you for believing in me. And it will bring you a lot of more joy, revenue, or something. You will go outside in winter, and we'll do field study, and then you'll paint in studio, because it's to paint the bigger painting in outside is not many artists can do that, and I want really everyone to try to do so. So many more educational material is coming, free and paid. And yes, I really appreciate for those who believe in me, who pray for my project and for me. So I will see you hopefully next week. And Joan, yes, I will try. It may work if the area like this is noisy, not just like a nightingale and other birds singing. I will do a voiceover like on top of it during live session. Okay, thank you for being here, and see you next week.